What does the word korban mean? It means likarev, to get closer to Hashem. For many of us, when we open up Sefer Vayikra, we see that there are many korbanot that are described, a modality of serving Hashem, commanded by Hashem, that to so many of us feels so mysterious. And yet, it features so prominent not only in Sefer Vayikra, but actually in the entire Torah, from the beginning of Breshit and through to the end of Tanakh. Let's consider that in Parshat Vayikra, we have the idea that when an individual gives a korban, already in Pasuk Gimel, it has to be done with a sense of ratzon, lirtzono lifnei Hashem. You have to offer it with a sense of will, a sense of purposiveness, a sense of mindfulness and intentionality. And afterward, the hope is v'nirtzalo, that it will be accepted by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with a sense that the korban was successful, meaning that it reached its destination in terms of its purpose, in terms of serving Hashem. Do we have this idea in our Siddur? Rav Soloveitchik points out in both the Sefer Worship of the Heart, as well as in the Shir L'Zecher Abba Mori, it's quoted in the Chumash Mesorat Harav edition for Sefer Vayikra, that two brachot in our daily Amida during the week seem redundant because they repeat. First, we have Shema Koleinu, asking Hashem to accept our prayer, and then Ritzei, asking Hashem to accept our prayer. But Rav Soloveitchik says that the second bracha, unlike the first, is Milashon V'nirtzalo from Parshat Vayikra. That indeed, whereas the first bracha of Shema Koleinu is about the words we've spoken, the second bracha of Ritzei asks Hashem to elevate our words to the level of korban, even though we have no korbanot today. And the idea that an individual should feel that their avodah shebalev, their service of the heart, as Chazal refer to Tefila, is also not only a form of speaking with Hashem in conversation, but also the form, for the time being, of our service of Hashem based on the notion of korbanot. Avram Avinu already asked Hashem at the beginning of Jewish history, says the Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, what will the Jewish people do absent a Beit HaMikdash? The Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit describes that Hashem answered him, 4 lines up from the bottom. Kavar takanti lahem seder korbanot. I have already enacted for them, says Hashem, an order of korbanot, meaning the words of the psukim of korbanot. Bizman shekorin bahen lefanai, as long as there's a time when they are reading it in front of me, then male ane alehem ki ilu hikrivum lefanai. I will accord it as if they have offered those offerings, those sacrifices before me. V'ani mochel lahem al kol avonoteim, and I will forgive them for all of their sins and iniquities. And this is the idea today of our holding in hand a Siddur, which has many elements that we can readily relate to, but it opens first, right after the brachot in the morning, with the Seder of Korbanot. According to the Shulchan Aruch, an individual should recite at least the Parshat Tamid every day, and should try to say some portion of the Korbanot section in a nod to this Gemara Masechet Tanit, but also in a nod to Parshat Vayikra, Sefer Vayikra, and indeed all of the Torah that is so much animated by the idea of serving Hashem, not only through our words, but also in the notion of Korbanot, any means that we can find to get closer to Him.